wisely and crush those responsible.
My will is strong.
A bit nervous to do this on YouTube. I might delete it after, who knows? Hello, and welcome to the second ever stream here on YouTube. I thought it'd be more appropriate to do something on YouTube this time instead of on Twitch. Since I'm not coaching, I'm instead reacting to a video or two videos that League of Legends has recently put out on their League of Legends YouTube channel. The reason I'm doing this is, even though I'm a Dota player, a lot of my content is comparing League of Legends and Dota 2. And this time, I thought it'd be really appropriate to compare what League of Legends is introducing this year at Season 1 with what Dota has recently introduced as well. And by recently, I mean in the last maybe 2 years. There's a lot of parallels that when I watched these videos, I saw so much that League of Legends may have been inspired by Dota to add, and I thought it'd be really fun to just go over it together here and see what we can come up with together. Let me just fix the background. There we go. Whoop. What was that? So, I have the videos prepared, and we're going to jump into them in just a moment. But before I do, hello everybody. How is the YouTube stream doing? Usually I stream on Twitch, no issues, but this time I want to see what's going on. Everything good? I am recording this, so afterwards I might edit it down a little bit to put on YouTube, but I am probably going to stick with this for now. I've always wanted to do videos in the same style that Necrit does, or that Nico... No, what's his name? Yeah, it's Necrit, basically. I think Necrit's message restricted. I have no idea what that is. So, I won't be able to do it as well as Necrit, but I thought it'd be a good chance to give it a shot. The videos are going to be... We're going to start with the video released in November of last year. This is introducing some of the gameplay mechanics that League of Legends will be seeing this year in the Season 1 split. They're naming them kind of weird. Let's get at it. Oh, and let me just do audio on. You guys should be able to hear some music, and we'll also listen to the video.
I'm Andre, also known as Mandela.
And I'm Paul, also known as Pabro. We're back with the final dev update of 2024. Today is November 8th. We just wanted to give you a warning. We will...
So here's the cool thing. League of Legends has these dev updates maybe once a month, and I think it's really, really neat. Dota 2 is explicitly opaque with who the devs are. We just call it like Joel the janitor, or just the janitor of Dota comes up with all of the updates and all of the patch notes. But we also have Ice Frog that has a lot of balancing and new heroes designed. It's cool to see that League of Legends has always been transparent about who's actually producing the game. They talk to their community, and I think a huge plus to the League of Legends team.
Be talking about arcane spoilers in our first section. So if you haven't finished the finale, skip to the time on the screen.
So we're doing that right now, since we don't really care about arcane.
Hey everyone, I'm Chad, aka McIver. I'm
Chad.
Seasons lead on League of Legends.
And I'm Steph, aka 100-Piece Nuggets, or the Cosmetics lead.
In the last dev update, Medler and Papra mentioned we're introducing thematic seasons. So today, we're here to talk more about what a season is, what to expect with the theme, and what the experience is going to be like both on and off the Rift.
Over the years, we fleshed out the world and regions of Runeterra, as well as various alternate universes like Star Guardian, High Noon, or Darkstar.
So, cool thing about League of Legends, you have a world that's fleshed out. We have a map on this website. It's pretty neat. You can go to different regions, read about the lore. Dota's world is, nobody really knows. There's a couple of regions and a couple of cities named, but most of the stories are not connected. You know they're on the same planet, but we don't know what the size of the planet is. It's never named anywhere. Sir Action Slacks, for fun, named the planet Rue after his pet dog. So I might be naming it Rue as well. But Dota's planet doesn't have a name, the regions are hardly defined, and some passionate community members have been working on a community map, a guess as to what the map of Dota's world really looks like. Another big plus for League of Legends lore.
We've highlighted these worlds in moments like summer events or narrative drops around champion releases. Now we want to take that immersion further with our new seasons.
So next year, we're going to have 3 seasons, each around 8 patches long, where we're going to follow champions around different regions of Runeterra. Each one is going to have its own theme, but we're going to have an overarching narrative that connects them throughout 20.
So the 3 seasons narrative idea, I just want to mention, Dota had that just a moment ago. Let me just pull that up. If I lower the browser source, there it is. So, in Dota, we don't have seasons in the same way that League does, except for one season. Dota usually has a fall or winter themed event thing every year. So it could be a winter map or a winter skin or fall different map skin, fall different little events. But this last year that is just finished, we had an amazing season or series called the Crownfall event. Crownfall started near the early mid of last year and progressed all the way into December. Every couple of months, we would get a new different Crownfall event or story. So if you go into here, we started down here at the start, and as we played Dota, we progressed through this labyrinth of a map, unlocking free skins and unlocking different, just like little bundles, mostly visuals, but also a lot of dialogue that was written. So each one of these nodes had dialogue for as the heroes are progressing. And we had season 2 and season 3. And I will be talking a lot more about these later in the videos. In season 4, these were the, quote, seasons of Dota, but they're not really the same thing. It's not like in League of Legends where the map itself is getting an update. It's more of this meta story progression little labyrinth map that was getting updates. So I wouldn't say that this is a copy from Dota into League of Legends. Just as a comparison, League of Legends will have seasons, and each of them will affect the cosmetics or the aesthetic of the actual gameplay map, while Dota's seasons affected just the story that is being told for this year. Yeah, it was about the Skywrath and Vengeful Spirit, and it didn't swap them, it just showed what Skywrath Mage and Vengeful Spirit did to reclaim the throne of the city of Skywrath.
And each season's theme will be the anchor for most of the content going into the game as well.
In the past, we've had these big releases like Swarm or Spirit of Hearthhome. They're
And what
super
happened to
memorable
those?
and fun, but they're also not connected to a larger integrated moment. And in seasons, we want everything to connect together.
I think that this is a massive weakness, actually, from the League of Legends team. Everything must be connected to the main game. Everything must be connected to the story. Why? Why not just have these game modes for fun so people can log into League of Legends to play Swarm or to play something else? Think about how Dota 2 does it. We have arcade mode, which I will get to more in the future, or later today. But there's just a bunch of game modes, mini games and stuff that is just available for anybody to play. Some people download Dota 2 and they never play the actual game. They just play custom games. There's Tower Defense, there's Swarm or Vampire Survivors versions, and many, many other variants. Again, more about the arcade later when it comes up.
That means things like gameplay updates, modes, mini games, and champions will mainly have a strong tie to the season's theme.
We'll have a bunch of skins that celebrate that seasonal theme, but we'll also continue to invest in a wide variety of skin lines that are unrelated to the season as well.
So you can be like, oh no, we released a game mode that's not related to the skin, to the season. But skins are fine. We'll just release whatever skins.
Expect to see cosmetics celebrating Lunar Revel or things like bees.
Ultimately, our goal is to immerse you in the parts of the world that we're visiting from the moment you open the client to the moment you see the victory screen and everything in between.
Remember that she just mentioned that there will be bees being celebrated. Remember this for later.
So enough tiptoeing around it. We know that you want to know what Season 1 is. So for our first ever season, we are headed to the land of strength and domination, Nexus.
Very cool idea.
Hey everyone, I'm Riot Froxon, lead gameplay designer for League.
And I'm Riot Oberon, project lead of the Summoner's Rift team. Next year, when you step onto the Rift, it'll look a little bit different than you're used to. We want seasons to be a way you can immerse yourself in League, especially once you load onto the Rift. So we have a preview of some of the updates you can expect in Season 1 of 2025.
We're headed to everyone's favorite region of fierce fighters, cloak and dagger magic, and strength, above all. Prepare to be... decimated! Beyond the Noxian invasion of the map, we've also made some gameplay improvements and changes for next year.
First, it wouldn't be a new season without an overhaul to the item system.
So I want to go back just a bit. I thought they
invasion.
would show more about the map, but here, League of Legends is coming up with a map skin that's dedicated to Nexus, one of the regions on, I think it's Runeterra. So this map skin will be seasonal, and it's only going to be this one time for a couple of months. And here's the thing. League of Legends, for a long time, has suffered from not having map skins. And now that they're introducing them, and they'll be coming out a lot more, I want to mention how Dota did it a lot sooner and a lot better. Going into the Dota client, I can click on the Armory, World, Terrain, and take a look at everything, all of the different terrains that are available. We got Divine Terrain, little bit of an overgrowth, seasonal terrain, summer, and I can just go into any of these and immediately reload my demo map to show this new skin off.
Beware the bite of frost.
So this is a summer themed skin, everything is blooming, and it's just everywhere on the map you have a different skin line
Get set.
that was available for just about anybody that played with the Battle Pass. I do want to mention most of these skins were Battle Pass exclusives. Reef's Edge was probably my favorite. Weather effects, yeah. So Reef's Edge takes the entire Dota map and makes it underwater themed, where you got little bubbles. All of the trees are now seaweed, and my favorite thing is close to the center.
Everybody get set.
Not yet.
We just do free spells.
Link dagger.
So close to the center, the river has been replaced with this mesh, and you can see really deep into the map itself, and I think that that's really pretty. League of Legends, because this would be not canon, will probably never introduce interesting maps like this. But I think that the Nexus approach is a decent upgrade. Now, I have seen the Nexus map being reviewed by Necrit, and I gotta say, it's a little disappointing how little it's changed. They've basically taken the League of Legends Summoner map and they've made it orange. And they changed some of the terrain a little bit, but it's nowhere near as drastic as this. And probably it's because it's not a skin that you can choose. In Dota, all of these map skins are cosmetic, and every player can choose a different skin for their game. While in League of Legends, it's going to be a cosmetic enforced upon you, so they couldn't make many changes since they didn't want to make a bunch of players unhappy. I'm going to go back to the default terrain so that we can continue the demo. Dragon says, one thing I really don't like about League's been copying from Dota recently is increasing the amount of fear of missing out cosmetics that gambling or long battle pass progression. Yeah, I'll talk about the battle pass later when they're talking about it.
And strength, above
Places,
all.
everyone.
Prepare to be decimated. Beyond the Noxian invasion of the map, we've also made some gameplay improvements and changes for next year.
First, it wouldn't be a new season without an overhaul to the item system. Just kidding.
I like that he says just kidding, because for League of Legends, an overhaul to the item system is saying, whoa, we got mythic items. And honestly, the mythic items, good riddance. They were never a welcome addition. I disliked them so much. It is an artificial way to lock down specifically what builds players wanted to go into. If you buy one item, you're not allowed to buy any other items. League of Legends has a lot of those, but at least the mythics are gone.
But there are some Noxian-themed boot upgrades.
Now, I do want to talk very much about these boot upgrades when they're introduced a little bit in a moment.
But it's not as simple as picking them up from the shop. In fact, they come along with a new mechanic, Feats of Strength.
There are 3 objectives that your team can claim throughout the game. First Blood, First Tower, and first 3 epic jungle monsters. If your team is the first to complete 2 of these 3 objectives, so for example, First Blood and First Tower, your Tier 2 boots will transform into new versions with slightly better stats. You'll also get access to...
So, here's the thing. You have map objectives, which are First Blood, First Tower, and first 3 camps. Getting 2 out of 3 gives you this test of might bonus, which lets you upgrade boots, or gives you a small upgrade to your boots now, and lets you upgrade your boots later. I'm going to talk a little bit about the feats of might first. In League of Legends, there is an issue in snowballing. It is so difficult to fight from behind because there's almost no combat mechanics. There's some combat gold that's related to taking objectives, but that's kind of artificial. It's hard to take an objective if you're behind because you're behind. And there's no really that much farm options available. It's not like you can go jungling like in Dota. And because of all of this snowballing, many times if a team finds itself behind, they will forfeit the game at about 15 to 20 minutes. Basically, teammates can vote to forfeit to not have to play or get to play the rest of it. For League of Legends, this makes sense because it is so snowbally. Take Dota 2, for example. If you've ever watched Dota 2 pro games or even played some Dota, you'll know that you can have a terrible early game. But because the game is designed around the opportunities of comeback, for example, farming safe if the enemy aren't keeping up the pressure, using a smoke of deceit for ganks, killing Roshan, killing the Tormentors. There's a lot of comeback mechanics, ways for you to come back. Even the neutral tokens. Neutral tokens and neutral items are almost like a comeback mechanic because they are free power upgrades that correspond to the enemy's power upgrades. So you essentially, even though they're ahead, if you just boost everybody up at the same amount, they're percentage-wise less ahead than you. League of Legends is introducing the Feats of Strength might thing, which is going to be another hurdle to have to overcome if you're behind. I have a prediction, the season's just about to start or has started today, but I predict that the forfeiting amount of games, the forfeited games, will increase substantially because people will say, oh, we lost the test of might. Therefore, we will always be behind in a stat gain from the opponent, regardless of how much we farm or how much we fight to go back. If you listen a little bit more,
powerful Nexus-themed boots, which you can purchase as a final upgrade.
By getting the Feats of Strength might thing, you can upgrade your boots, which everybody's going to be buying boots, into better boots. But you can't buy the better boots unless you have this. So you're going to have an item slot, which almost everybody consumes this item slot to just be my movement option. And that item slot for you is now going to be an option with stats. I think this is going to snowball the game more than pretty much anything else League of Legends has seen pretty much ever. And I don't like it. Now, I want to compare these upgraded boots to what Dota has. In Dota 2, most of your boots have tier 1, 2, and 3. So, everybody's Boots of Speed is a tier 1 boot. These Boots of Speed can be upgraded into 5 items. Usually, it's only 4 though. Phase Boots for movement, speed, and armor, and a little bit of damage. Power Treads is your Berserker's Greaves, damage, attack, speed. And yes, I am buying multiple boots. Arcane Boots gives you and allies a source of mana regeneration. And Tranquil Boots gives you health regeneration out of combat. These are usually picked up by a support. I've purchased 4 boots, but 2 of these boots can already be upgraded directly, and the other 2 boots are upgraded by the 5th boot I haven't mentioned. So in Dota, the Arcane Boots can be upgraded into Guardian Greaves, ridiculously powerful buff that gives you an AoE heal and AoE mana boosts and a self-cleanse. The Tranquil Boots can be upgraded into Boots of Bearing, which gives your team essentially the Shirelius battle song or war song. It's the thing that makes you go really quickly for a couple seconds. You have an item that does that in League of Legends. In Dota, that's just the boots. Though the phase boots and the power treads cannot be upgraded directly, most people will sell them in the late game for an item called Boots of Travel. This gives you unleashed teleport. So now, if I had creeps somewhere on the map, I can teleport to them using my Boots of Travel. So Dota 2, and by the way, the Boots of Travel can be upgraded as well. So Dota 2, for a very long time, has had boots upgrade. But the boots upgrades are extremely expensive. These Guardian Greaves, if I look in the shop, they cost 5,000 gold. The Berserker's Greaves cost 4,200 gold. Not the Berserkers, the Boots of Bearing. 4,200 gold. These are not cheap items, but they give you a way to upgrade your boots item slot into something more powerful if you want it to be. League of Legends is stealing or copying the upgrading the boots mechanic without getting the idea of why Dota 2 has the upgraded boots mechanic. These are not just, hey, I have my items filled, I might as well upgrade my boots, like what will happen in League of Legends. No, these are conscious first or second item power spikes. You buy this as a full item, and it also happens to be boots. These are most commonly picked up on supports, since it gives you more inventory slots for things like wards. In League of Legends, you have your control wards. They take up an inventory slot for your support. In Dota, they also do, but if you upgrade your boots, you can now have that free inventory slot for much longer. The Dota, long time of having these upgraded boots. League of Legends is adding them in the most unfortunate way. It's going to be a power spike you can only gain if you're already ahead. That's the definition of snowball mechanics.
We want Feats of Strength to celebrate
Feats of
early game
Strength.
successes without immediately snowballing the game out of control. We're experimenting.
See, that's the thing. It's without immediately snowballing the early game. Guys, you're going to be snowballing the early game at 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes. That's still snowball. You got 20 more minutes of game time. But now you don't, because you only have 5 minutes until people in the losing team forfeit, since they can no longer ever hope to earn those tier 3 boots. And it's just unfortunate. I wish the tier 3 boots were available for everybody. You have to be ahead in gold to afford them anyway, so why is that the barrier?
With different types of power progression. to see how it feels for a reward in the early game to open up more choices in the late game.
We're also introducing Nexus turret respawning. An incredibly frustrating experience is just winning a late game teamfight only to lose your Nexus turrets. You kept the game alive, but at what cost? Now it feels like your team is doomed to hang around in your base for another 200 years, babysitting an open Nexus. To give your team a better chance at coming back from these
That's not
situations,
gonna happen.
your Nexus turrets will now respawn after a set time once they're destroyed. Now, your team can rally for an epic comeback without having to worry about a backdoor cast-in.
So the backdoor Kassadin is a reference to a pro play where Kassadin kept teleporting around until they killed the Nexus. But I want to mention that these respawning turrets are a band-aid solution to something that seems a lot more simple to solve in a different way. Going back to Dota 2. In Dota, you also, hey, look at that. You also have the 2 Nexus turrets. We just call them Tier 4 towers. And the Tier 4 towers are defending the Ancient. What you might notice is the Tier 4 towers have 2,600 health with 20 armor. The Ancient has 4,500 health with 23 armor. So the Ancient is about twice as tanky as these Tier 4 towers. And the Tier 4 towers in Dota are a lot tankier than what you might see in League of Legends. The way that Dota has it so that you don't get super frustrated losing your base towers but maybe protecting the Ancient is the Ancient is a very tanky building that heals very quickly. It's very common, yes, for you in Dota to lose your towers, lose the team, then lose the Ancient. But the Ancient dies over the course of your respawn timer, not immediately. How many times have you played League of Legends? You go kill the Nexus, you kill the 2 Nexus towers, and then you just instantly evaporate the Nexus. I don't mean kill it, I mean it just blows up. It's made of paper. The towers themselves are made of paper. In the late game, how is respawning Nexus turrets going to help if your Nexus has half of the survivability of the towers? In Dota, it's twice the survivability of the towers. So if you lose the towers and you push the enemy back, your Ancient itself can survive backdooring for quite some time so your team can respond by a recall. I think that the respawning towers, they mention this is because if you've defended your Nexus, you shouldn't have to feel like you've lost because you have to defend it forever. But that's the problem. You're not going to defend the Nexus, you defend the Nexus towers. I don't care if the towers respawn if the Nexus immediately explodes afterwards. It's not solving higher defense games. It's not letting you defend the Nexus for a longer time in a losing fight because you're going to just immediately lose that fight. I don't care if the towers respawn. I saw some people talk about how controversial the Nexus towers respawning happens. I want to ask any of my viewers that might be watching this now or later on YouTube. If you've been playing League of Legends, how many games end without a single tower ever respawning? And I'm not talking about Azir towers. If you have 1 in 20 games with a tower respawns, does that respawning tower make any difference? I want to bet it doesn't happen. I want to bet in 100 games you won't see any effect of the respawning towers. So it's just what did Americans call it? A nothing burgers. It's giving a new mechanic where the old mechanic is still broken and it's still the old mechanic that is dominating the loss. The old mechanic being the Nexus is made of paper. Make it a little bit tankier, please. Bat says, a field that's less impactful since the Nexus dies in 5 hits. Exactly.
We're also adding some new minor runes to rebalance some of the vision-related options in the domination tree. 6th Sense.
So these are minor runes. I'm not entirely sure what they do. They're more like, hey, I'm gonna buff wards or anti-warding. That's fine.
as well as a new addition to the sorcery tree called Axiom Arcanist, which makes ultimates more powerful. We also couldn't resist changing
A sorcery tree that makes ultimates more powerful makes it feel like in League of Legends, sorcerers are basically designed around powerful ultimates or made to have powerful ultimates. That's a big difference from Dota, where ultimates themselves can be powerful, but it's rare to have their power increased, since the rest of the kit is just as powerful together as that one ultimate. The ultimate is basically the power of 3 spells, most often. Some heroes, like Lion, have a basic ability more powerful than the ultimate they carry. It's gonna be weird that it's in the sorcery tree, though. It's like, what, are ADCs not allowed strong ultimates? Are in bruisers or tanks not allowed strong ultimates because it's tied in the sorcery tree? Seems a little bit like you're locked out of that just because you're going cosmetically or gameplay-wise a different kind of character.
items just a little bit. So we're adding some small scope adjustments to tank items and adding a new item called Bloodletter's Curse. Well, new-ish. It'll look familiar if you've spent time in Arena. But if you haven't, Bloodletter's Curse reduces the target's magic resistance from repeated spell hits, which is sort of like an AP version of Black Cleaver.
That's kind of cool. Dota has an item that increases your magic resistance from continuous magic damage. All of the magic reduction abilities and items in Dota are instantaneous, and I think there are more magic reduction items in Dota, but there are no magic penetration items. We don't have armor penetration or magic defense penetration in Dota 2. It's just reductions. It's because Dota 2 is designed more around being a team game, so when you reduce somebody's defenses, it's meant for your allies to benefit, not just from you.
Finally, let's dig into the biggest update of the season, Otacon, Bringer of Ruin. The new epic jungle monster is drawn to death and destruction. He will spawn only once at 20 minutes on either the top or bottom side of the map, whichever side has seen the most champion damage and kills by 14 minutes. To signal where he'll make his...
You guys saw the preview. So Otacon spawns at 20 minutes, right? Where have I heard that one before? How about something in Dota that spawns every 20 minutes? It's not 20 minutes in. We'll come back in just a moment. Maybe I'll edit this later. So here and here, there will be a respawning objective. We call him Dota's mini-boss, which is called the Tormentor. Terrible name, but spawns at 20 minutes, and it's a DPS check, very similar to one of the Otacons.
Or bottom side of the map, whichever side has seen the most champion damage and kills by 14 minutes. To signal where he'll make his entrance, Otacon's arena will spawn, adding new permanent walls to that side of the map. Otacon's
I think that's
dark
cool.
influence will also cause blood roses to grow periodically in the areas where champions have been killed. More death means more roses. Blood roses drop bloody petals for your entire team.
Listen to
which
this.
stack any number of times and last through the entire game. For each petal collected, your whole team gains a small experience and power boost. So if you see one, grab it.
So you collect a petal that spawns around the many new objectives that give your team experience. Well, in Dota, let's see if I can spawn it here intentionally. It's not spawning for me now, but there is a there's no wisdom rune that can spawn here. There's a rune, looks very similar to this, spawns in this location called the wisdom rune. You pick it up, I'm not showing this. So it looks like this. You pick up the wisdom rune, you and an ally gain bonus experience globally. Where does it spawn? Right next to the new objective location. Very similar in how League of Legends has these new petals spawning close to action around Otacon, including Otacon themselves will spawn the new petals, which give wisdom or experience. Another similar mechanic. Once Otacon is finished, I'll talk more about it specifically.
Otacon has two forms, Ruinous and Voracious. Higher action games spawn Ruinous Otacon, who you might want to fight up close and personal to avoid his constricting rings of damage, which creates the perfect chance for an ace and a steal. Killing Ruinous Otacon grants bloody petals to the team who kills him and spawns a grove of blood roses in the area for anyone to collect.
So, killing Otacon gives your team a power bonus because of the blood roses, experience bonus, and it's basically a DPS check because it does a lot of damage and it's not that tanky. Now that we have the Tormentor alive, the Tormentor is a team objective that grants experience later, but mostly in the form of gold, a power bonus in the form of an Aghanim's Shard, which I'm gonna give my cell levels.
Deep as forest shade.
And it's a DPS check. If I have the stats, I can kill it on my own.
I'll take that.
There we go. And I just gained some gold and experience. How about that? Next to it spawns the Wisdom Rune, which acts very similar to the new Blood Petal Rose thingy majigs.
Voracious Otacon spawns in lower action games. He does less damage to his enemies, but as his name implies, is hungrier.
Voracious Otacon, I feel, is going to be a bit annoying. Before I continue, just gonna read chat. Mel's Ultimate doesn't fit in League because okay, gotta see that. While in Dota 2 is balanced with items, seems like League copy pasta too much already. Is there any command to end specific time? There is a command to increase how fast the time progresses, but there is not a command to add an amount of time on the map. And yeah, Enigma's Ultimate is huge. So I'm gonna go back and just re-listen to this Otacon here.
It's bloody petals to the team who kills him and spawns a grove of blood roses in the area for anyone to collect. Voracious Otacon spawns in lower action games. He does less damage to his enemies, but as his name implies, is hungrier. As his health gets lower, he gets an increasingly more powerful drain ability based on missing health. The team who takes down Voracious Otacon gets a one-time rebirth buff, similar to Guardian Angel.
So, you have a tanky, lower DPS boss that drops a buff granting Guardian Angel. Where have I heard about that one before? How about Roshan, the inspiration originally for Baron? Now, Baron does a lot more... Oh, I didn't do the browser thing, didn't I? I'll fix that. Maybe I'll do it again. So, Baron was a copy of Roshan a long time ago, but now Baron does a lot more different mechanics and different stuff than Roshan. Instead, Roshan is closer to the edges of the map, similar to where Otacon is. So, you would play here, Otacon would spawn here, but Roshan spawns here. He is a lower DPS, very high tank boss. I'm level 30 now with a couple of items, so it's a bit easier for me to take him down. But even then, I struggle. If you remember in the video how much the presenters struggle to kill Voracious Otacon, it's gonna take a moment. I'll edit this down for the YouTube video. You kill Roshan, guess what he's dropping? Aegis of the Immortal. This is Guardian Angel. So, you kill a Roshan, he drops Guardian Angel. You kill Voracious Otacon, who's a tankier, lower DPS type of mini-boss, gives you Guardian Angel. There's some similarities, and I'm not trying to over-exaggerate. It seems pretty inspired, if you were to call it that. I don't know if it's stolen or not, but it's suspicious. Next league will expand the sidelines? Dude, I can't wait.
So now you really have a reason to force that team fight.
We're introducing Otacon for a couple of reasons. First,
Oh, I wonder if the buff that grants you Guardian Angel, I haven't played it yet, does the buff have a maximum time limit? Like Aegis? Because when you pick up Aegis, it has a maximum of time limit after which the Aegis just disappears without having been consumed. Does the buff from Otacon also have a maximum time limit that disappears if you don't consume it? If it does, that's just another very similar thing.
unless you're T1, a 20-minute Baron is pretty tough to get.
Jeez.
So we're moving Baron's spawn back to 25 minutes and providing another mid-game macro option in the form of Otacon.
I don't like this. So what they're saying is that Baron, because nobody goes for it before 20-25 minutes, they're pushing its spawn timer later and later. In Dota, it's true. Almost no team goes for Roshan before the 25-minute mark. That doesn't mean Roshan's not there. Roshan spawns at the game start, because if you draft the right team, you can kill it in the first 10 minutes. If you draft a mid-Templar Assassin or anybody with armor reduction or summons, you can kill it by 15 or 20 minutes. Having Roshan available throughout the entire match opens up different drafting opportunities, different drafting strategies for teams that want to kill Roshan early. I feel like in League of Legends, they're saying, because most don't, we will limit it so none do. It's another one of those things, like League of Legends tells you how to play, it doesn't give you the flexibility to experiment on your own.
Second, based on how Otacon plays out each game, we hope to see more different and interesting game states in both mid and late game. And we feel that designing an objective whose spawn location, form, and rewards are decided by how you play should make each game of League feel more varied.
So, here's another thing they stole. So they're like, okay, cool. Let me just do create hero Roshan. So they said, okay, so we got a new boss that spawns, and the spawning location is determined by gameplay. And the gameplay specifically is how much action there is. Dota's got a very similar idea. Yeah, minute zero with possible reverse. So Dota has a very similar idea with Roshan, again, being a version, like the main boss of Dota's map. If you have faster or slower games, you might have the strength to take out Roshan at different points in the game. During the daytime, he's here, but at nighttime, he'll go through this little twin gate. I'm just microing him here. He'll go through the gate, and he'll be found on the Dire's half of the map. The difference being, in this half of the map, when it's nighttime, you'll have less vision. It's close to Dire structures, so Dire can spawn. The trees are slightly different. There's a cliff here where Dota doesn't have one. It's over here, but it's like closer to trees. It's a little bit different, maybe not by much, but you can change the location that you take out the Roshan boss based on the speed at which you have the strength to kill Roshan boss. Similar to Otacon, if you have a lot of combat in the game, that means that one of the teams will probably be ahead earlier and kill the higher DPS Otacon. So, at a different location. So the location changes. For Dota, the boss itself doesn't change in stats, just their location. That's the sound of Aegis going away.
Our goal is for every gameplay change to make League better. As we move to seasons, this remains the same, so these changes were designed for the long term.
It's strange to even have to mention that. Like, what changes are you putting into the game that is supposed to be short term?
That said, we'll keep an eye on how they're landing and make adjustments if needed. But for now, Archon and all the other updates are here to stay for good. We can't wait to see how these go as you start your climbs next year.
As part of building seasons, we took a look at how rewards would be part of the overall seasonal experience. That led us to updating our reward systems. That means things like event passes, champion mastery, honor rewards, etc. We felt that this was a great time to address some problems that have built up. We're going to dive into those details, so bear with us.
First, over the years, these systems have become needlessly complex. With an
I'm gonna
excessive
skip
number of currencies,
slightly ahead.
it's a crap
They're
thing.
talking about different currencies that you spend in the battle pass.
Only sometimes available makes some moments less rewarding to play League.
So, here are some of the changes we're making. There will always be a battle pass active.
I think this is ironic or kind of funny. As some of you might know, for the better or the worse, Dota 2 invented battle passes. I have it pulled up here. In 2013, we had our very first battle pass called the 2013 Interactive Compendium. You buy this compendium and you can put like money into it, but also by playing, you progress the compendium and you get a bunch of unlocks. These are couriers, visual aesthetics, compendium taunt pack, fantasy team stuff. This is the very first battle pass of all video games. So it was pretty limited. Over the years, Dota introduced more and more things into the battle pass to where battle passes became like a massive event. A battle pass dropped. Everybody starts pouring money into it, getting a lot of limited time cosmetics. FOMO, as Twitch chat was talking about earlier, there's now more FOMO and these big gambling skins in League of Legends. But Dota did it first. Over the last couple of years, Dota 2 has moved away from the battle pass idea. The reasoning being that it was too much of a focus on the battle pass and not that much focus on what's going on around it, the actual competitive Dota scene. League of Legends is releasing battle passes just willy-nilly, but there's also one probably around Worlds, right? It's funny to think that in League of Legends now there will always be a battle pass active, while Dota 2, the inventors of battle pass, have moved away from the idea. I think it's a show of, excuse me, it's a show of what's more important for the different companies. Riot might value the money from battle pass, while Dota, moving away from battle pass, was able to release something way better. The Crown Fall event, which I showed you earlier, this one here with all of the different acts, this was released instead of battle pass. All of this content, different dialogue, trees, you get to talk, like, it's just a little animated dialogue. I think it's kind of cute. Cosmetics that can be unlocked at every single node. This was all added instead of battle pass, and there are 4 of these. This is just the last one. This is the first one here. So, where League of Legends did steal the battle pass from Dota, they're sticking with it while Dota's moved away. Long, I guess, summary.
Both a free and a paid track, with the price the same as an event pass today. You'll get pass rewards through the tracks, meaning we're removing the event tokens and shop.
There will be 2 passes per season.
Basically the same thing.
Tying into each season's thematic.
So, 3 seasons, 2 battle passes per season. That's 6 different battle passes per year. 6 of them? Dota's never had more than 1, I think. Or actually, no, that's not true. We sometimes had 2 or 3 if we had different events that were big enough to warrant a battle pass, but it's usually just the 1.
That means most of the rewards reflect what's going on in and around the game.
That's just
fewer
wild.
random rewards. We'll have the same number of passes per year at 6, with a longer average duration per pass.
We're also moving
Holy FOMO. Give me 1 second. Gotta turn off the heater. Gonna re-chat with them for a moment. They deserve a slightly different version of the FOMO skins. Yeah. Really salty about not playing during the period of time Skeleton King was one of the battle passes. Hey, Skeleton King is now available as a rare drop from one of the cosmetics. Kris Kringle thing. I don't know if you can still get it though. What rank are you, Potato Sir? Jesus, what's the amount of open tabs? I am bronze in League of Legends, unranked in Dota. Dota developers moving away from Battle Pass. Lol, it's really funny when the inventor, the first to enter and to exit. Yeah.
Most of our scattered reward systems to the free track of those battle passes. So, most rewards will now be in one place, with systems like Honor and Champion.
Hold on. There's 3 seasons. Each season has 2 battle passes. And each battle pass has 2 tracks? Give me a break. How much League of Legends do you think people play? I guess this is meant for the truly down, just full-on addicts. I don't think I could complete anything, not even the free ones, even if I played a substantial amount of League of Legends. That is a lot. That's 12 different progression systems per year. Okay then.
Mastery feeding into the pass. For example, having a high honor level will give bonus to past experience earned.
You can earn 12 skins per year with the free pass. Half of these skins will be themed to the season you unlock them in. We'll also be simplifying the loot and crafting system. Orbs will always be available, so Masterwork chests.
So look at this. They're spending 3 minutes to talk about the cosmetics, the battle passes, the unlocks, and the skins.
Rewards. If you choose to buy the paid version, we also want it to be very clear what you're getting and how to make the most of it.
Now, these elements have a ton of moving parts to them. There's a lot more details than what we've talked about just here. We'll cover that all in the dev blog that's out right now. Switching gears a bit, I want to talk about another change for next year that isn't quite tied to seasons, but instead by feedback from all of you. Ranked resets. These have been a topic of a lot of conversation in recent years.
What do you guys think of ranked resets? So, in League of Legends, there used to be multiple rank resets per year. But as they're about to talk about...
just got stomped by the Radiant.
As they're about to talk about this, the ranked resets will be changed in League of Legends to being just 1 per year that has already happened. In Dota, there are no ranked resets. There used to be 1 or 2 per year, but now there are none. If I'm going to show you here. Instead, any player can go to their settings, I think it's under account, and click a button that resets your rank. So ranked resets in Dota are an optional thing. Hey, I think I want a ranked reset. I can click it, reset my rank completely, start it from scratch, and see where I get. I have never done this, and many people haven't. What do you guys think? Are ranked resets good or bad for the game? I feel like they're pretty good. I think that Dota could benefit from ranked resets, especially with all of this MMR inflation. But I understand why League of Legends had them. And League of Legends is reducing the number to 1 per year. Dota went from 2 per year to 1 per year to none per year. So I wonder if in 2 or 3 years we'll see that there's no more ranked resets in League of Legends. I would be surprised if that happens.
How often you want to restart your climbs, how fast a climb should be.
While they're talking about this, I'm just going to reach out.
Like a grind, etc.
The previous season they had 4 per year.
Looking back,
Jesus, 4?
The right call for League. So, we're moving to 6.
That's wild. I thought it was 3, but it's
okay,
even
just
more
kidding.
than that.
Please put down the pitchforks. We're going back to 1 large reset at the start of each year, with no additional resets during the year.
Rank system tuning in terms of the size of the January reset, the number of the games to climb on average, and other systems will be similar to the numbers we used back in 2022 and before. That said, there will still be 3 Victoria skins you can earn, 1 for each season.
Again,
If you
about
want
the
to earn each
skins.
Skin, you will need to win 15 ranked games during that season. Again, though, neither your visible rank nor your MMR will reset except in January.
Next up, we want to chat about a potential replacement for quick play that we'll be trying.
You guys want to see another thing that League stole?
Swift play, and it's meant to be a lower stakes experience than Summoner's Rift, though with more
Listen to
strategic
this.
elements than you'd find in, for example, ARAM. You'll still have the same core elements that you'd expect to find in a game of Summoner's Rift, you know, farming, snowballing, team fighting for objectives, etc. But with added changes to keep all players more competitive, like ramping gold and XP as the game goes on.
Ramping gold and EXP as the game goes on. They're adding Swift Play, a game mode with more gold and experience, but similar to the standard. Where have I seen that one before? Check this out. Turbo! A shorter version of all... Wait, can you see this? Yeah. I'm just gonna... A shorter version of Alpic with increased golden experience, weaker towers, and streamlined couriers. Guys, they're adding Turbo into League of Legends. Dota's had Turbo since Dota 1. It used to be called Easy Mode. Then they renamed it in Dota 2 to Turbo, and after 20 years, League of Legends is finally coming up with it, and they're going to call it Swift Play. I think that's so interesting that it took them this long to figure out, hey, wait a minute, Dota did this cool thing, let's just do it too. Every MOBA should have a version of this. I do not play Turbo, but I agree with you. Every MOBA should have a version of Swift Play.
Those changes won't make it so you can suddenly jump ahead of your opponent if you're 0 and 10.
Yeah,
but they
they're
will
just
make it so that even
describing
if you're down,
Dota
you're not
Turbo mode.
completely out of the game.
The fact that Swift Play is also less punishing when behind should also make the mode ideal for those of you looking to play with friends you wouldn't be willing to put your LP on the line for. As mentioned, Swift Play will be rolling out in January to replace Quick Play in select regions, so we hope you'll give it a try and let us know what you think when it hits live.
So here's the thing. I think that Swift Play should be added to League of Legends. I do not think that Quick Play should be removed. League of Legends is already balanced around having people be able to one-trick pony different champions. It's rare that what you're one-trick ponying matters that much to the major way that your team actually drafts. You're not going to be as hard counter does in Dota, and you're not going to be as hard a counter to others or synergize with your team as in Dota. Where in Dota, quick play will never make sense because drafting is such a vital part of the actual gameplay experience. In League of Legends, where drafting is really not that important for most players, I think that quick play should remain as an option to just get into a game and have some more fun with the specific champions you've chosen.
We also have a blog dropping today with more details, so be sure to check that out. And last, but hopefully not least, we've got some changes coming to the practice tool. Over the years, you've told us that it's a useful but somewhat limited way to get better.
Somewhat limited? Somewhat limited. You know, this whole time I've been showing stuff over here, I haven't left the practice tool. I'm still 40 minutes in. Most of that is AFK. I'm in the practice tool right now. And I can spawn allies, enemies, give anyone different... Like, what hero do I want? I want a Necrophos with a clairvoyant cure on the enemy team. Let's do all vision. I can give them levels. I can even level somebody to max. I'm gonna make this enemy invulnerable so I can test my DPS against them. I can control just about any hero or on my team or the enemy team. I can spawn whatever I want. Let's see here. So boom! I made myself a creep. So I can test, okay, how do the creeps fare? By the way, this guy's killing me over time. Should move them away. Let's just despawn these guys. Dota's demo mode or practice tool is what I've been using to make my YouTube videos for the last year or two. It is exceptionally good. It is not perfect, but it is very, very high tier. To say that League of Legends has some practice tool that needs work is such an understatement, it's insane.
League. The most common desire we've seen people bring up is to practice with other players, whether
No, the most common desire is to practice with multiple champions that are not played by bots. To be able to practice with other players is because League of Legends don't, their players don't understand there exists a practice tool where you can have whatever heroes on whatever teams and you can control them and force them to do whatever you want. In League of Legends, it feels like, oh, but I want to practice my champion against this other champion when they're moving. I need it to be multiplayer. I think it's addressing the problem in a roundabout way. And they are adding multiplayer, as they're about to say.
One-on-one duels with a friend or on a full teamfight drill with a pre-made team.
Practice tool wasn't built with multiplayer.
So, practice tool wasn't built for multiplayer.
About how League could
Demo mode in Dota is not built for multiplayer. I wish that demo mode had multiplayer. That'd be so cool. But here's the thing. League of Legends is coming out with multiplayer practice tool before Dota has a multiplayer demo mode. This is something that League of Legends is beating us on, and I would consider it a big win for the game. Where League succeeds on its own, I do want to compliment it.
if the optimal way to get better is to spend almost all your time in practice tool rather than playing real games. But we do think we've likely been too cautious here. So we're going to be giving multiplayer practice tool a try. You should see that on the PBE soon. It's an experimental feature, and we'll probably encounter an interesting range of bugs. That said though, we're looking into whether we can ship it as part of season start in January. And if that's not on track, we'll give you an update as to where it's up to.
What, you didn't?
Before we wrap up, one last seasons thing. We'll be changing up how we name patches to match seasons. So instead of patch 15.1 coming out in January, it'll be patch 25.s1.1, calling out the year, season, and patch number. Season 2 will then kick off in patch...
What is it? 25.1.s... What are you doing? Why are you naming these as if we're game developers? We're not. Name them something normal. I like the naming conventions so far. Take a look at what Dota does. By the way, without leaving the tool, it's still running. You can go out here. Check this out. I can view every patch. Should be able to see it above my head. That has come out for the last many, many years. All of the patches have the same naming convention, but since 7.0. Before 7.0, it was 6.88, and this was on, I think that was on the previous client, or maybe not the previous client, but the previous, what is it called? Source 1 engine instead of Source 2. Sadly, it doesn't really go past 2016 on the history, but the patch convention in Dota is a number patch like 7.17. This is a number patch, no letters attached. These are big gameplay changes. And then the letter patches are balance changes around the gameplay changes. Nobody has cared about this not corresponding to the year or to the season or anything else. We just care what patch of the game we're playing on. And of course I can click on any of these to read what it is. And they're all giant, by the way. Take a look. This is 7.34. Just one more balance patch in a list of 100 balance patches. Kaipa, thank you. And look at 7.33. Okay, this one was huge, right? I'm going to make a video all about 7.33. Gives you the bigger map with animations. This is what our patches look like, by the way, and this is in client. In League of Legends, you have to look at the patch notes out of client most of the time. Sometimes in the client, but like this is all in client. This is how Dota does patches. We have them named 7 point, which is this basically the decade of Dota. So 5 was last decade. 5 and 6 were last decade. 7 has been this decade for a while. Came out 2017, I think, 2016. It's been a while. Look at these patch notes. Isn't that beautiful? Wish League of Legends had this. One thing League of Legends does have in patch notes is they have the description of why for every change. But all of the changes are like bonus damage, bonus armor, minus damage, minus armor. In Dota, so many of the patches are like bonus movement speed, duration changes, cast range, mana changes. Things in League of Legends that you'll never see is the cast range of different abilities. That shit almost never gets reworked or changed. Mana costs, yeah, cooldown. A lot of stuff gets changed. Look at this Venomancer. He just gets a ridiculous amount of changes just for him. So, League of Legends renaming their patches seems like why? Like, I don't know. Convoluted.
5.S2.1. You get the idea.
Okay, that is it from us today.
Okay, that's for the first video, but another one just came out today. So, let's watch that one next. Let's make sure everything's working. Oh, before we start it, I'm just gonna read chat. Dota command, what the fuck? Yeah. That is why League might be called... Oh, hold on, what did I miss? For the previous season, they had 4... Okay, I'm so glad they're copying this. Turbo is good in every MOBA. Yep. League, they don't have the ability to control other units. They do, but it's really weird. Like, Shaco's clone or Team Tibbers, you can control them separately, but it's really strange. League has that kind of ability to control on other units. I think champion like Shaco, Wukong, LeBlanc. Exactly. I didn't expect the guy. Yep, cast range and cast points. Crystal Maiden -1 movement speed. Yo, I remember there was a patch where Crystal Maiden, I'm not even kidding, Crystal Maiden had no attack animation before the attack completed. It was an instantaneous attack. Like she triggered an auto attack and that auto attack happened instantly and then her animation flew out. It was so weird. I'm glad they got rid of that. It's okay to have attack animations for every champion or every hero. But yeah. So, new video. Let's check this one out. Really cool music. I'm probably gonna get marked down for this, right? Oh no, copyrighted music in my video. Let's hope they don't care.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul, aka Pabro.
And I'm Andre, also known as Medla.
Hello.
Welcome back to another year of...
I'm Tsar,
As we
also
talked
known
about
as
last
Tsar
November,
Potato.
we'll have 3 uniquely themed seasons each year that will immerse you in moments and journeys throughout Runeterra and our alternate universes. And for our first season, we're heading to my personal favorite region of Runeterra. Welcome to Nexus.
Now tomorrow when you log on to Summoner's Rift, it'll look a bit different.
Things are getting serious.
As a brief
ain't
recap
they?
from our last dev update, here's a refresher.
That was the Dota 2 announcer because I do have the game still playing. The announcer said things are getting serious, aren't they?
On what's changed. Nexus has invaded the Rift with new art, music, structures, and a new objective, Artican, the bringer of ruin.
Otacon will spawn on either side of the map at 20 minutes in 2 unique forms with some permanent terrain changes, and he'll give a buff to whichever team kills him. There are new runes, items, changes to teleport, and a new system called Feats of Strength that give you access to newer, more powerful boots.
Again, Feats of Strength seems like a ridiculous system to add into a game that is already super snowbally. It is another snowbally game. This game's not going to have any games more than 20 minutes in the casual scene. Everybody's just going to quit if they don't win the Feats of Strength.
Now, all of these changes go live tomorrow, so they'll be there for your ranked climb. Speaking of which, as a reminder this year, we're only going to have one ranked reset, which also happens tomorrow. Now, there are also some other changes you'll notice when you launch the game. We simplified the home screen, making it easier to track the season's progress, see what's new, and just generally decreased overall clutter.
This season will last 8 patches, split into 2 acts that will have their own battle pass with various act-themed rewards like...
Talking about the clutter of the client, what do you guys think of Dota's main client? Lots of clutter on the left, but that's just like social tabs, right? Your own account and profile, all your friends. In the middle, this is all this event. This is basically all we've seen for a while. Sometimes we see little treasures pop up. It's like, hey, new skins. But most of the time, it's maybe some skins and then the big event. And to the right, we have the comics. We have a new thing where we can craft different craftables. I don't have anything there. We'll take a look at the comics in just a moment because they're going to introduce them as well.
skins, borders, and more. We want to immerse you in Nexus by connecting your League experience both in and out of game. For example, that means things you saw in yesterday's cinematic will be coming to League. If you haven't watched the cinematic, we recommend doing so before watching the rest of this video. Spoilers ahead.
I watched the cinematic. It was pretty cool. I don't know what they mean by spoilers ahead. They don't really spoil anything in here that's related to the cinematic, except for skins. Whatever, that's not gameplay. I don't care.
Okay, without further ado, let's get into the first thing you saw yesterday that'll be coming to League this season. Mal Madada. Yesterday we saw Mal continue her journey after Arcane and arrive on the shores of Nexus, where her ambition will be tested among the great houses. Mel will be arriving in the next patch with a new Noxian appearance. We wanted to reflect her embracing her Noxian roots and heritage.
In the show, Mel was really hot. Let's not kid around. We knew this champion, if it came out into the game, would be totally Coomer bait. Look at that.
At this phase in her life.
And along with the new look, she'll also be bringing a new type of gameplay that we haven't had in League before, projectile reflection. The game team and the Arcane teams work together to figure out how Mel's power should be shown in both game and show, with game inspiring show and vice versa. You'll see her full kit tomorrow, but we want to dive into one of her abilities, Rebuttal.
Now, this spell reflects projectiles back against their source. So if Yasuo, Braum, or Samira could block it, Mal can reflect it. Targeted spells like Veigar's ultimate will target their original caster. Non-targeted abilities like Lux Binding or Nami Bubble are also shot back in their direction.
Everybody that's like, oh no, my targeted spells, whatever shall I do? May I introduce to you, Anti-Mage.
All magic flies before me.
Anti-Mage has been able to reflect spells for ages. Oh, I misclicked. It's free spells. And now it's reflected. Or if I try to nuke him, the reflect is on, I nuke, I get killed. It is just as simple as that. In League of Legends, there are far more projectile abilities than in Dota. So I feel like Leagues might be more powerful, and you're right, Lotus and Mirror Shield can both do this. There are items. For example, just see if I can set this one up. We have a Crystal Maiden, an enemy and an ally. if the Crystal Maiden has the item... I can never find stuff in this shop, man. Lotus Orb! This Lotus Orb reflects any targeted abilities. So now the other Crystal Maiden was also affected. It does also affect the original, so this is why this item is more balanced. In the super late game, there's another one called Mirror Shield. But Anti-Mage is the best example that I have here. Reflect spells. This is nothing new for Dota, but it's something League of Legends is copying directly from Dota 2. I don't think League would have something like this if Dota didn't have it first. Another thing that I want to mention is League of Legends. I wish I could have the full champion available, but League of Legends is probably going to have a much longer cooldown. Counterspell for Anti-Mage has a 3-second cooldown. Once every 3 seconds, he can spam the hell out of this thing, even without free spells. I click it, for 1.5 seconds I'm invincible, and then I click it again,
It's not.
and then I click it again, and basically it's got 50% uptime, where the enemies have to time their spells properly to even hit me. I don't think that Mel will be able to reflect spells on a 3-second cooldown. So I don't think you should be afraid. If you're thinking that Mel's ability is going to be overpowered, remember, Dota's had this for years, and it's okay. You guys will be fine. Dota's been fine too.
Now, reflected spells will keep the behavior you'd expect when they were initially cast.
Of course.
Annie has her passive up, a reflected disintegrate will stun. Or Nidalee's javelins will deal more damage the further they go, etc.
We can't wait for you to see her.
So, here's an interesting thing. In Dota, reflected spells are coded as follows. The spell is hitting you. When you reflect it, you negate the original spell, and you cast the same spell back. So the new spell you cast is considering you as the caster, so it benefits from if you have things like damage bonuses on abilities, magic bonus, stuff like that. Basically, AP stats for for Dota 2. I don't know how it'll be coded in League of Legends, because think about what's the guy's name with the chains? Starts on S. Steals abilities. Why am I forgetting? I should have this prepared. Hold on, where are my notes? Mel's your permaban. Silas, thank you. So, Silas can cast the ultimate of his enemies, but the way it's coded in League of Legends is he doesn't directly cast it. He creates an illusion, a clone. That Silas clone casts the new ability, because Silas is unable to cast other abilities. They tried it that way, and it just broke the game. In Dota, reflected spells consider you the caster because all spells are programmed modular. You actually have a game mode in Dota called Ability Draft. In it, you start the game not by picking your hero, but picking all of your abilities. So you get to play with a mosh pit of random abilities from across the match, and it's really cool. League of Legends is just not made with modular spells. So this reflected spell, I really want to know how it works underneath the hood. Is it considering Mel as the caster? Is it just, like, what's going on to reflect it? I feel like there's got to be some mechanic there that's brand new, and I'm excited to see it.
In game. Additionally, if you want to learn more about her family backstory in depth, make sure you check out the novel Mbessa, Chosen of the Wolf, when it releases in February. To celebrate the launch of the season of Nexus, Mel will be unlockable for free as one of the seasonal missions.
Yeah, I'm not getting her then. You have to play the game to unlock this champion. Look at how smug he is. Oh, this champion will be free. This is so... I don't know. It's depressing. For a Dota player like me, every hero that has ever released is free. Kez got released about a month ago. Yep, immediately free. You don't have to unlock him. You don't have to spend any in-game currency. Not even like blue essence in League of Legends can be earned by just playing. And a lot of people argue, well, all the champions are free because if you play a lot, you get the champions. What if you don't play a lot? What if you're casual like me? Or what if you're someone that watches my content as a Dota player interested to learn more about League of Legends? If you're a Dota player, you go into League of Legends, I'm going to spoil it right now. You have 10 heroes out of 170. You can play 10 of them. Congratulations. That's so stupid. In Dota, every hero can be played. Every hero you can demo immediately. So let's say I just choose Queen of Pain, return to demo, boom, I'm Queen of Pain. Oh, I don't like what skin I have for her? Change the loadout? I can select any skin, any purchasable skin, any unknown skin, any skin that I've ever considered buying. Let's say I really wanted to get this one, but I don't have it. I don't have this skin. I can still demo it. I can take a look at it from different perspectives. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. Look at that. Whatever skin I choose. I don't know why League of Legends is so limited. You can't demo the skins. There are YouTube channels that are made around showcasing the skins so you can see what they look like before having to buy them. Why is this something a passionate YouTube creator has to make? Why can't it just be in the client? What's going on? But look at this. He's so happy. This is going to be a free champion. Free if you play our game, though.
For now, though, we're going to hand things over to some other folks from the League team. We'll share more about what you can expect as we journey through Nexus.
Before we continue, just going to read chat. Anti-Mage's new meta. Imagine deleting yourself with Veigar's ultimate. Dude, yep. I forgot you have to buy the characters in other MOBAs. I know. Dota spoiled me. Really? Okay. Yes. The entry wall just huge in League and I don't like it. You can. Doesn't mean a new player should play any new hero. It's just restricted to new player mode. I still have 19 matches. It's ridiculous. Most popular on skin spotlights, even often gets mistaken for directly working with Riot. They do not. Yeah, they're just community made. It's the hurdles League of Legends players have to jump through to enjoy their game. When League players come to me after having tried out Dota and they tell me, man, I didn't know what I was missing out. You guys have a client that works. You have so many player-friendly mechanics and player-friendly features in the game and in the client. Like League players, I urge you to try different games. Doesn't have to be Dota, but you guys are suffering and you don't know it. It's like if you only see in grayscale, you think the world's fine until you can see color. Let's see what else they have. Cool little video.
Hey everyone, I'm Chad, aka McIver, and I'm the seasons lead.
And I'm Bryce, aka Riot Athelos, longtime Rioter and League's newish creative director. I started on this role about a year ago, but I've been at Riot and working with League for over 9.
Congratulations.
Over the years, one of the things that we've loved most about working on League is how much you love it. The world, the champions, the lore. And so do we. League has such a rich and vast world, but sometimes that richness lacks the depth you and we think it deserves. And this is why we decided to build on that storytelling as we head into our first season.
Yeah, we want seasons to unify League in a way that connects the in-game and out-of-game experiences. You've already seen a lot of the ways that Season 1 is going to help Nexus come to life in League with gameplay updates.
And as the season goes,
You know, saying your commercial is the out of league experience? Guys, it's a commercial. I don't know why you want that to be unifying league. Like, oh, we've unified our out of league and in league stuff, but they're showcasing the commercial for League of Legends.
Goes on, there'll be more in-game thematic narrative expressions, like the Reckoning Pits of Nexus, making their way into Arena, as well as out-of-game ones like motion comics and minigames.
We were really excited by the reception to Spirit of Hearthhome last.
Check this out. Comics. Another thing League of Legends is stealing from Dota. Where have we seen comics? We've seen Dota's comics for a decade. Most recently, there was a comic for the New Year. It's right here. It's not really a motion comic, but it's a storybook that's written like a comic. Look at this. I'll just skip ahead to show you some of the other pages. Now, that's just the most recent one. Every single act, so 4 times in the last year, we've had everything from full-on comics. Let me just, next.
Ain't seen this many trees in a long time.
View comic. So, these are the comics that we get in Dota. And these come pretty comfortably over time. Just, I was at the last page because I'd read it. So you just go through and you can read about the lore of what's happening right now, quote unquote, in the game as the game is following the story of Skywrath Mage and Vengeful Spirit. And look at these. I think this is really beautifully drawn comic book stuff. As a fun note, the very first comic that we had in Dota was all about Axe. So it's funny to see Axe as the leading role in this comic as well. And they're really funny. I've read them all. Great stuff. Like this guy's saying how he likes this one poem from his tribe, but it's the only poem that the tribe has ever made. Like this is the only poet because the tribe is entirely gangsters and murderers. This is cool. And you get, listen to this, you get a comic at the start and a comic at the end of every act. 4 acts. Then every single node is written like a comic too when you watch the replay dialogue. So this isn't directly comic, but it's animated comic style dialogue where you follow through and the characters are talking to each other and have expressions. This isn't exactly the comic thing, but we got 8 comics. All of these nodes are dialogue and a cinematic at the end by beating the Nest of Thorns. League of Legends is just now thinking about, oh, maybe we should add some comics. Yeah, give it a shot.
This year, we loved giving you a unique introduction to Aurora, and we're going to continue experimenting with ways that bring our worlds to life and connect those in-game and out-of-game experiences.
I'll be reacting to a lot more messages at the end of my at the end of this, I guess. What do you call? Oh my God, words. At the end of my reaction portion. So remember what you want to say. If I miss it, spam it out. I'm gonna read everything.
In Season 1, one of the ways that we'll do that is with a new genre of minigame that will debut in Act 2.
We also want to confirm some.
A new genre of minigame that debuts in Act 2. Where have I heard this before? League of Legends. Guys, stop stealing our ideas. Look at this. Crownfall. Act 1. Minigames. This one is a fishing minigame. I'm just going to show it off real quick. So we can catch fish. This is a terrible lure. I'm going to reset. Fish. You throw it. Wait for a fish to catch. Can you guys see this? Oh yeah, you can. Okay. So this is just the most simple little mini game that is part of the season progression, you can say, for Dota. This is the first one they had. Then in the same year, they also added another fishing one, a flying. This one's funny. This one's just Flappy Bird. You click your mouse. I suck. Play. Let's see. It's just nothing crazy. Flappy Bird that was introduced. What came next? Forest of Ice Wreck. How many mini games do you think Riot will introduce? Huh? Oh, come on. I think the client's lagging because I'm also streaming and recording at the same time. The Forests of Ice Wreck has quite a few mini games. First mini game, Sleet Fighter, a knockoff of Street Fighter. You can play multiplayer or single player in this, by the way. I'm just gonna play single player to show off what it looks like.
Untold miles to reclaim his title as the world's most renowned brawler. Bristleback versus Dawnbreaker. Round 1.
And then you just have like this. I don't know what are the hold on. I don't know what the words are. Okay, this is attack 1. There we go. This is a got it.
Knockout.
And this multiplayer, I can choose. Look at this. I can go in here and I can invite any of my Steam friends to play. Because it's unlocked at the start of Act 3, literally every Dota player has this unlocked at the very beginning, as long as they press 2 buttons. They have to click on Act 3 and then click on the first node, which is unlocked free for free. Again, this is lagging because I'm recording and streaming at the same time. Generally, it does not lag like this. This is just a bad sign. But if I click multiplayer, I can challenge any of my online friends. Later this same section, we have Dragon's Chess. What's causing this lag? This might actually be because I'm still in demo mode. Let me try this out. If I leave game. Let me just quit out of the demo. It's been 70 minutes and the demo mode has not kicked me. League of Legends will kick you out of the demo mode if you're inactive for like 30 seconds. What? Who am I? Who are we fighting against? What? Why do I have to get kicked out of a demo mode? Just run it locally. Anyway, I'm seeing that like Force of Rice Rack is causing a lot of issues. All of the other ones, look at this. This loads pretty quickly. The Frost of Rice Rack seem to be loading very slowly comparison to the other markets. So, there we go. It's lagging a little bit. So Dragon Chest. Can I really not load this correctly? What is going on? But it's Bejeweled. You get to play a little bit Bejeweled in between games. And by the way, I can look for a game while playing these matches. I'm just going to play a little bit. I'm looking for 4s and 5s. Oh, this one's almost set up, but I can't do it. I'm trying to flip this over. But because I'm lagging, it's not taking my input. There we go. And this is a 4. So if I flip this around. Now I have a power-up that if I use it, it'll give me some bonus. So how many different games have we gone through so far? Right? Okay, I'm just tabbing out to see if this will make it better. And then we have the Dance to the Death, which is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up kind of deal. It's lagging a lot because, again, streaming while also recording. But it's pretty cool. It goes for a while. There's even a boss battle at the end. I think I've beaten it quite a few times. So that's in 3. In Spires of Skywrath, there's even more. Wonder if I need to restart this thing. Okay, there we go. So in Spires of Skywrath, what do we have? We got Bomberman. We got this one here. Castle Carnage. This is just Angry Birds.
We have a black powder in the morning. Plenty more where that came from.
And as you go through the levels, you get more and more different types of weaponry. It's just Angry Birds. We also got this one, which is just Minesweeper. After that, we got Nest of Thorns, which is what you and League of Legends players would call Swarm mode. Pick whatever I want, some upgrades, and just play Swarm. Start small, lasts for about 15 minutes, 13 minutes of actual game time, and then about 2 or 3 minutes for the boss, depending on how fast you kill the boss. Level up, you get your different abilities. I'm going to get Chain Frost. And these are just abilities from Dota that will auto-cast. Very simple. Vampire Survivors, Swarm mode, whatever you want to call it. Now, to be fair, this was added in Dota after Swarm mode for League of Legends. So in this one instance, Dota is copying League of Legends. But the reason I say that overall League of Legends will be copying Dota is because if you listen, we're just going to go back to the video.
Those in-game and out-of-game experiences. In Season 1, one of the ways that we'll do that is with a new genre of minigame that will debut in Act 2.
Minigames that are debuting in acts of a season. Exactly like the Crownfall acts debuted minigames in Dota 2's season.
We also want to confirm something that you probably saw in yesterday's cinematic, specifically around LeBlanc. She's a beloved, iconic champion in League, but she's in need of some modernization. One of our goals is to tie champions and champion updates to seasons, so we felt that a season focused on Nexus would be the perfect time to give LeBlanc a visual update.
Dota has had visual updates for outdated heroes before. Recently, though, they've slowed down, and I kind of miss it. I think there's a lot of heroes in Dota that still need visual updates. League of Legends has more visual updates, but they advertise them more as well. Dota's visual updates is just like, one day you log in, oh, hey, my hero got a visual update. That's kind of cool.
You'll see more of LeBlanc in her new look later this season. Lastly, we also want to talk about where seasons can take us. This year is primarily focused on Runeterra, but we're really excited about the possibilities that alternate universes bring to seasons.
Yeah, just imagine a world of bees. Just literally
They were talking about bees
everywhere.
in the previous video.
I'm a bee.
They're just, I don't know what it is about the Riot employees, or maybe this is just a running joke. Why are they mentioning bees in both of their recent devlogs?
We're all bees working for Queen Bee Syndra.
You had me, lost me, you brought it back. We'll think about that, but I think we should consider some other choices too.
Okay.
But anyway, our goal really is to deepen the connections to our champions, and because of that, we won't always be able to include.
I don't have much to say about bees.
With the release of Mel, we'll have 170 champions. We'd rather have a stronger narrative for the season and do the champions justice, rather than be shallow across every single one that could fit.
We are really excited for you to experience what the team has built, and we can't wait to see what you think as we start on this journey. With that said, we'll hand things over to Cosmetics, who will share more about what you can expect.
Check this out. They have between 7 minutes and 11 minutes. 4 minutes talking about cosmetics? 4.
Hey everyone, I'm Steph, aka 100 Piece Nuggets, the cosmetics lead.
And I'm Tom, aka Riot Hylia, and art director on cosmetics.
Today we have a bunch of skins-related topics to cover, including this season's prestige list, exalted skins, and how our champion first philosophy.
It's okay with you guys. I am gonna skip ahead on the cosmetics
Ethiopia and Kiana will have prestiges available for.
So they have, of course,
Speaking of prestige skins, last year we
Coomer
shared
skins,
skins allow us to even further deliver with our champion first.
more
And if it
skins.
fits, he sits.
We had a ton of fun working.
Here they're talking about how one of the characters will have a cat skin. But here's the thing. In Dota, by and large, the skins are all considered canon. So most of our skins aren't like, hey, this guy's now a cat. I mean, like, you could say that the new space theme skins for Dark Willow and for Sniper kind of break the mold, but most of the skins are not as crazy as League of Legends is.
He's got boxes, and if it fits, he sits.
We had a ton of fun working
So yeah,
on this skin.
lots of
Some our
cosmetic
most-
stuff. I'm just gonna skip ahead.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Greeley, head of Global League of Legends Esports.
And I'm Waylon Roselle, Chief Operating Officer of Esports. And welcome to the start of an incredible season for LoL Esports.
This year we've got plans to bring you even more unforgettable moments, from major updates in Split 1 to an expanded global event roadmap.
We have a lot to cover, so let's dive into what's in store for LoL Esports this year and beyond.
One of the biggest changes we have coming this season is the full Fearless draft in Split 1.
We want Fearless to bump up the competition to a new level by banning champions picked in previous games within a best-of series.
To make it so that there's more champions picked, they're making it so that every champion picked in your game, if you're playing pro, will be banned in the next game, and then also banned in the game after. This is because League of Legends has been stuck on 5 bans per team for, a decade now? There's 170 champions. 5 bans per team is not enough. So in League of Legends Esports, you see a lot of extremely repetitive lineups. I have been watching League of Legends pro scene for the past couple of years, and I have to tell you, you see 20 champions, and then sometimes a flex extra 20, which means out of 170 champions, 40 or 50 are competitively viable. In Dota, there's only about 130 heroes, a bit less than that, and all except for maybe 15 or 20 are competitively viable. So on average, you'll see 100 plus heroes in every single major Dota tournament, with only 50 champions sometimes in League. They're trying to fix this by making it so that when you pick champions, you can't pick them again. I have talked to some of the devs because they stream on Twitch. I've mentioned this and they've heard me out. I've told them League of Legends needs 7 bans per team. 7 per team, not 5. And instead of doing 7 bans per team, they say, okay, we're just going to ban everything that you've played. Guys, this is not the approach. How are you going to have a competitive scene where people can't play their best heroes, not because the opponent banned them, but because they've already played their best heroes? Just make it 7 bans per team and you'll be good. It's 8 bans per team and you'll be good. It's just insane. I am excited to see how the game plays, but I feel like this is going to hit a lot of pros where it hurts. And watching the pro scene might not be the same.
This change will force teams to adapt and bring out their full champion pools.
That means if you see like a Renekton and a Cassante matchup in Game 1, you won't see it for the rest of the series. This will test teams' creativity, their adaptability, and shake up the meta across the board.
Not only will we see Fearless Draft in every region in Split 1, but it will also be utilized at our new international event.
The First Stand tournament will take place from March 10th to March 16th.
First Stand instead of Last Stand.
Our goal
They could have called it First Strike, which is a rune in the game and is also a common term. But they didn't call it First Strike, they call it First Stand.
goal is for First Stand to be an
Missed opportunity.
unforgettable moment this year, with guaranteed best of matches between the top teams from Split 1, competing in matchups that will showcase the very best of early season League of Legends esports.
And beyond just exciting games, the stakes are higher than ever. The winning team will also secure a second bye for their region at MSI 2025.
They're just talking about like how you qualify. Yeah, we get it. You qualify by
We can't wait
playing.
to see which team will rise to the challenge and make their mark as the inaugural champion of First Stand.
Pausing it here for something important in comparison to League and Dota. In League of Legends, for the highest tier tournaments, you have something called a buy-in. Essentially, there are slots for the tournament that are available for teams to purchase. Your team's org can purchase a slot. Then your team can go to the tournament. Or you can sell your slot to another team, which is what sometimes happens. How is this merit-based team competitions? Think about how it works in Dota. In Dota, for Dota's worlds called the International, there are regional qualifiers. Any team that has a team logo and name can qualify. If I go, or can compete. If I go over here, on my settings, social, I think it is. No. Account? Pro info and teams. Take a look at this. My pro info, my name is Tsar Potato, my team is this is my friend's clan, Dota lag party. Because we lag a lot and we play Dota. Anybody that has this, I myself included, if you're good enough at the game, can compete in regional qualifiers, having earned points through something called the Battle Cup. So every week you can participate in Battle Cup. And now Battle Cup isn't really much of a thing, but you could do it before. You qualify for the regional qualifiers. Basically, you just attend, you make sure you have a team. And if you do really well in the regional qualifiers, you can go to TI and go to the qualifiers, which is group stage basically there. League of Legends has it that your team, your org has to buy these slots, which are very expensive, I think. It's just so your team can play. And I think that Dota's method of just being merit-based is a lot better. You'll see no-named teams, people, you've never seen these players before. You didn't even know this team existed. And they will be playing on the same level as professional teams you know and love. They'll go to TI through qualifiers. And I think that's really cool and something that I wish League of Legends would embrace is merit-based tournaments. Not just, oh, these are the most popular ones because they've paid us.
We have an explainer video out now that dives deeper into Fearless Draft and the First Stand tournament, so be sure to check it out if you want more details. First up, MSI 2025 is heading to Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, they're just talking about how it's in Vancouver, then it'll be in the United States, and where it's going to be later.
Will return to North America.
Yeah, so this is
a wrap on all things.
That's just like where will the tournaments happen.
Thanks for joining us, and here's to an amazing season ahead.
The transition videos are kind of cool.
Okay, what else have we got?
Next, modes. As we move into seasons, we want to make sure that there's always a variety of gameplay available. So, starting with the next patch, there will always be another game mode available to play in addition to Summoner's Rift and ARAM.
So all random Earth will be turning on next patch and will be available throughout Act 1 of the season.
Game modes will be available throughout, at least one. Dota, let's go to the arcade. Let's take a look at the comment. Most popular, just this week. Everything you see here, every different named game is a game mode, which is not a mini game. These are, you can go in there. There is matchmaking. You can jump into any hosted lobby and play it. There are 50 of the most popular, 50 pages of this thing. Every single one is a different game. Warlock Brawl is pretty fun, as it tells you when it's been last updated, about half a year ago, so it might be a little bit broken. But this one, you're basically playing on a crumbling arena where everybody is spellcasters and you're slinging spells to try and destroy the arena or push people off of the arena. Or kill them. It's not arena in League of Legends because you can push people off, but we have one. It's what's it called? It's not King of the Hill, but if I look up King of the Hill, so many games are just named King of the Hill. I think it's called Overthrow. So Overthrow, if I just click on any of these, you see there's a bunch of different versions for Overthrow. Let's click on 3.0. Overthrow in Dota is King of the Hill. Either in solo or in teams, you play for control of the center. As you control the center, you accumulate faster golden experience, and it's usually like first team to 30 kills. Again, this is all my lobby list. Look at this. This is the current lobbies that are open, that if I wanted to, I could just play any of them. I only play one right now with my friends. I used to have a bunch installed, but I uninstalled them to free up space. Active games. League of Legends has such potential of including custom games made by passionate players. Such an opportunity that they're missing out by not allowing the creative community to publish their own games to their client. Valve doesn't even need to make that many games. Sometimes they make an Aghanims game, and then at the end of the Aghanims, they made this game. At the end of their development cycle, they published it, and it was fun. People played it for 2 or 3 months, and then they said, okay, here's the source code. We're not going to develop this game any further. And it has been in development since. And it's still being developed. These are all community-driven, and some of them were made by Valve, released, and updated by the community so Valve can focus on making more stuff. Valve will create the game, release all the code, players will update the game. Valve doesn't have to worry about updating it. Seems like a logical and reasonable way to play. And of course, some of these games, they advertise new skins, they have different mechanics. They're really cool. This game, Aghanims Pathfinders, had some mechanics within. This is a roguelike. The roguelike elements, some of the stuff was so popular, they then made that gameplay features, like new items and new abilities, in the main Dota 2 game. So Dota 2 has seen changes because of these custom games that have released that became popular. It is a self-fulfilling cycle, and League of Legends they release one game, 3 months later, they shut the game down because nobody else is allowed to play it or develop on it or anything.
Then in Act 2, we'll have the Arena update. Speaking of which, Arena will be returning with a fresh coat of Noxian paint and a new Nexus map, themed after the Gladiator pits, with its own map-specific mechanic.
Additionally, on all Arena maps, we're also introducing a system called Guests of Honor, where you can vote on which famous Noxian you'd like to alter the rules of each game.
They're saying, For one of our custom games you will have access to for only 3 months, we're introducing this new mechanic. Bro, just give us the custom games permanently. Just release them. Just have them available. And if they break, whatever. Nobody will play them. It's not your job to update them constantly.
Now that system mostly replaces cameos, which we felt were pretty hit or miss.
Now, we'll also be adding new items and augments, as well as changes to maps like Koi Pond, based off some pretty clear feedback received during the last Arena run. We don't want to spoil everything now, so keep an eye out for details on the changes coming to Arena when it's closer to launch.
So, that's the start of Season 1.
So that's it for the dev blog. Let me just change this. Only Kim. Music. Quite an interesting amount of things they've mentioned, and I tried to highlight what I considered things that League of Legends was in fact copying from Dota, or things that Dota did first, even if League technically not copying, but Dota, we got inspired. I love it when games copy from each other. When League of Legends takes things from Dota, when Dota takes things from League of Legends. In both cases, the games do grow and improve. I am not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying it's happening again. So, thank you for everyone coming to my live stream. I generally stream on Twitch. If you want, go and follow me on Twitch. I usually stream coaching people from League of Legends into Dota 2. So, I will probably be doing that later, either today or tomorrow. But I'm not done. As I promised, I'm going to read all of the messages that I missed, or most of them, and try to reply to anything that I've skipped out on. I'm going to also stop my recording here. It's a 2-hour recording. I don't know if I'll publish a video of this stream, but I'll leave the stream open for anybody that wants to watch it later. Recording is stopping still. Then I hope it didn't break something. There we go. It stopped. The recording stopped. Okay. So, everybody's still here? Let's see what you guys have typed in. I'm scrolling very far up, and if I missed anything, just repeat yourself. I'm totally fine reading for the next 10 minutes. So we got... Dragon has mentioned that they released different FOMO skins and put them behind loot boxes. The loot box that ends up being cheaper on the market board for $60. Dude, $60 is a full game. Don't buy skins for that much money. Money, yes. Why are you releasing 2 battle passes for each season and 2 tracks per battle pass? Money. Of course. Dota developers moving... Okay, we talked. I regret missing the Co-op Arcana the most. Dude, I don't regret missing the Co-op Arcana. It was such a high level of the battle pass, it would have cost me the same as another game just to unlock it if I was going to not grind it out. And honestly, though I play a lot of Dota, played enough to grind battle passes. Over the years, some of my fans have purchased battle passes for me, and I always feel sad because I don't do anything with them. Like, stop buying me battle passes, guys. I don't do any progress. I just random my games. The Kringle skin is 200 on the marketplace now? Yeah, the Kringle skin will give you Skeleton King as an Arcana if you have it. And it's pretty expensive. But if you want it... Oh, by the way, the original skin for... what's her face? For Wind Ranger? I go to Recording Suite. Get rid of this part. Browser YouTube. Okay, so for Wind Ranger, this skin, Heroes Board, I'm just gonna probably find it the fastest through here. So this is the most recent loot box, by the way. These skins are actually really, really cool. I I think they've outdone themselves on loot box skin this time around. And one of them is an old Arcana that's returning. If I click on this, including this bundle, this one. Demo Hero. Again, I can demo any skin that I want without having to purchase it. This skin, when it came out, was at one of the end rewards for a battle pass. And if you wanted to pay for it right away instead of grinding for it, I'm not kidding, this skin was 450 bucks.
Everybody get set.
It looks great, but it's not 400 bucks great. So now they're releasing it as an extremely rare drop from a battle pass. Let's see. I'm so happy they're copying Turbo. Turbo is so good, and every MOBA should play it. Yep. Turbo Giga Chats. Because in League, they don't have the ability to control. Oh, yep. That's why League is bad, and might as well call themselves League of Legend Bang Bang. That's a good one. Mobile Legend Bang Bang. I didn't expect the guy to represent himself as a potato online would look so manly and handsome in real life. Again, thank you so much for that comment. Though I am balding heavily and I got wrinkles a little bit, I think I do look okay. Razor with the hit delay. Razor still has a hit delay. Still remember the massive boost for Shadow Fiend +1 starting armor? Literally unkillable. Hit him. He's not killable. He can't die. That's such a good meme. That was Bastion? I don't know what you mean. I saw that when you typed it, and even at that point, I wasn't sure what you were referring to. Was wanted to try and to get into League, but unfortunately, I don't have the free time I had when playing Dota. I always thought that functionality of Dota's client justifies how complicated it can be. I think the functionality makes the game much easier to play in comparison to like League of Legends. If you play it a lot, the game's easy in comparison to like easy to pick, like to play. Less brain is being used. You don't have to think about your macro as much. You don't have to think about your itemizations as much as in Dota, although it is still pretty high. But in Dota, the client just allows you to test things in demo mode really easily if any changes happen. It allows you to practice pretty comfortably, and it just gives you a lot of freedom that League of Legends client does not have. Since we're going to be watching this Arcana, I might as well get a little bit closer. I think she's so hot. This is the hottest skin in the game. Anyway. I don't play Dota too much these days. Has Anti-Mage been meta already recently? No. Anti-Mage's strength is that he burns people's mana in laning phase, and then he can farm really fast by blinking all over the place. He's never really been a strong hero. He's more just, how do I put it? He's strong in prolonged games where your team can play well without needing their carry. But in recent times, because the game has sped up a bit, the carry has to get involved in fights much sooner. And so Anti-Mage has really fallen off, and instead like ranged carries like Drow Ranger and Medusa have gotten a lot more popular. So Mel can reflect all projectiles spells, not just targeted. But this is because Dota has more than like 2 or 3 times as many targeted spells as League does. So Anti-Mage can reflect only targeted spells because non-targeted spells are almost always circular targeting or cone targeting. They are not linear targeting. The only ones that are like Hoodwink's Ultimate or Wind Ranger's W. These are linear targeting spells. But Anti-Mage can reflect only targeted because there is a lot of more targeted. So I think Mel and Anti-Mage are very good to compare in this case. Closer to Lolita's shield from Major League Baseball. I don't know what that means. Oh, Mobile Legends Bang Bang. You're right. Once again, Dota's dungeon is absolutely gaps leagues. It does. It's good. Rubik is better. When you stole Monkey King's ultimate, bro, you remember? So Monkey King's ultimate, for people coming from League of Legends, Dota has a hero called Monkey King. His ultimate summons a bunch of statues that will attack enemies around. Think of it as an instant summon of about 15 different, what's his name? Azir Sand Soldiers? Except they just attack whatever is closest and not when Azir tells them to. Here's the problem. Each one of these statues is coded as a version of a hero or a champion. If Rubik steals Monkey King statues and tries to ultimate then, the game tries to spawn more Rubiks on the map, but it crashes out because it can't find them. Essentially, all of the statues are pre-spawned underneath the map off the corner somewhere. So they're always on the screen, whether you summon them into the game or not. When they unsummon, they just teleport out of the map essentially, but they're not gone because the game just likes to teleport them back and forth. So what used to happen is Rubik would try to create these statues and then crash the game for everybody because no statues were found to be teleported in. They've since fixed it, but it's lots of crashes in Dota. Yeah, the entry wall is huge in League, and I don't like it. You can, doesn't mean that you should. Okay, yep. The most popular one, skins. Oh, you talked about that one? Hi, do you play Osu? I do not play Osu. I always I always am reminded of the time a bug in the skin shop caused the flash to have no cooldown in League. I thought that was just demo mode, but that is kind of funny. League's fire on their lore, but in game, bro. Yeah, I know, dude. League's lore is really cool. I enjoyed Arcane. I follow Necrit for years now because I like listening to him talking about League's lore. I hardly play the game, but it's really cool to see how League's lore is. And compared to Dota's lore, essentially, for those that don't know, two college kids got high on shrooms and started talking about random lore, and that's basically Dota's lore. It's the most psychedelic shit you've ever heard, man. It's really funny, and it's really, really silly. I love it, even though it's kind of silly. I love it for being silly. We're 10 plus developers that are working on Dota versus 1,000 on League. That's impressive. At one point, I heard that Dota, some years ago, had fallen to 4 developers. This was a leak from internally at Valve. Because, Valve people, they know each other. There were 4 developers working on Dota. I bet you there's more now, but that's so... What the hell? One of them is probably the janitor. Dota did copy the Stardew Valley fishing minigame. That is true, and I love it. Is it fair for Dota to steal more League heroes, seeing Kez with League BS and Dota IM is just very good? I think that Kez is a little bit like a League champion. There's some League champions that transform, gaining different abilities. But the interesting thing about that is those champions are meant to have 6 abilities, essentially. But they can't fit 6 abilities on the bar. So they have 3 abilities plus transform for another 3 abilities. Kez is meant to do the exact same thing. 4 abilities, transform for another 4. But because the cooldowns are tied to each other, they don't act like any of the other champions in League of Legends. Until you get an Aghanim Scepter, but then they're still mostly tied. In Ags, it's more like the Transformers are versions of Invoker with fewer abilities. Just because they have 6 abilities. In Dota, a lot of heroes just have 6 abilities because you can have 6 abilities on the bar. If I pull up, who's a famous 6 ability hero? Shadow Demon. It's not Wind Ranger anymore. Shadow Demon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 abilities. But the hotbar on the screen, what you see over here, that is made to work for this many abilities. You can have more and more, by the way. It increases and decreases in size. So if I do a reset, notice he starts with 5. I can buy another, and the bar just increases in size. And in Dota, you can have as many abilities as you want. This thing has no limit. In some custom game modes, take advantage of that by just giving you a shit ton of abilities randomly. Like the vamp, yeah. Ikar Gua in Act 3, My Beloved. I don't know who Ikar Gua is. I don't remember any of the named characters. If you're still here, you can type it. I'll get to that in just a bit. Oh yeah, let's take a look at this new skin though, because this one's... It's got that...
With the wind at my back.
It's like elf themed a little bit.
Never knew my parents. But
Just turn her around towards the sun. Because this is in game. This is like controlling it. This is exactly what you see. Just I zoomed in. She looks great. All right, and this is when somebody was saying my demo was still open. I'm glad I met a guy that hates League as much as I do. I don't hate League, but I make content to get people interested in watching. Scareth, all projectiles plus rot, just free win. League fans shaking hands with Dota fans, wanting more visual updates. Yes. Visual updates. Like, there's a guy, I'll just spawn him here. This is the most pathetic model that we have. It's called Morphling. This thing, this guy's got like, you can see the polygons on this guy's model. Look at this. It's kind of hidden because of the particle effects, but look at his base. What is that? So yeah, this guy desperate for a model update. This is supposed to be a stream of water, but he just looks like a Tootsie Roll that's been like twisted a little bit. Yeah. With Dota skins, if I remember correctly, they used to be lore based, but now lore based are personas and arcanas. That is not true. Even new skins are technically lore based. They're just from different iterations of the game. So if you remember, the lore is that when the ancients killed each other, they reset the timeline by a couple thousand years. And so in one timeline, you have space skins for some of the heroes. In another timeline, the Ursa warrior, a bear, is a park ranger. Stuff like that. So like these are still canon, they're just different timelines of the game. That's a lazy approach about the roles, yeah. True Dota lore is seriously not to be taken seriously. Yep. I feel Monkey King in Dota is one of the best adaptations of one from Journey to the West in a MOBA. His skills really make him feel like his abilities in the novel. I agree. Why is it that Monkey King Sun Wukong in League of Legends doesn't have his extendo stick and it doesn't have the fucking jumping, dude? What is Monkey King known for? He's got the Bariza... Oh, no, sorry, what's it called? Jingle Bong, right? The gold-tipped staff, gold-rimmed staff. Was it Jingle Bong? Full name? Or Jingle Bong? Anyway, the extendo thing is missing in League of Legends. And what's the first thing that Monkey King does in the novel? He says to the Buddha, "I will jump to the end of the world," and jumps to the end of the world in like 3 leaps? Why can't League of Legends' Wukong jump? That's literally one of his like most core power sets, is jumping, transforming into shit, and having a big stick. It's just unfortunate that he can't do that. Morphling is a croissant. Wait, still looks better than Zillion's? Does Zillion have fewer polygons than this? There's no shot. There's 16 more. Oh, Gabriel. Wait, Gabriel Yarkov. Wait, Yakov. Yeah, I need to say this. Yakov Lji. It's Gabriel Yakovlevich. Yakovlevich. God damn. I'll just call you Gabriel. Or I can't say your last name, man. It's so hard. Yes, I saw that. I actually just finished. You're here too late. I finished the react on the last 2 dev blocks. I will leave this up on YouTube at the end of the stream, but I did record all of my react time. It was pretty messy. I've never done a reaction video before in my life, except for 1 or 2 for patch notes. So I've never done like devlog reaction thing. I'm gonna try and edit it down for a YouTube video later on. The water effects help mask the shitty model, but it's still a shitty model. What do you think of Morphlings across? Okay, what do you think about Tinker from mid laner to soft heart support? I think he's really strong as a support. I miss old Tinker. I think when he had the rockets, rockets and shield, not March of the Machines, was the best Tinker. Here's the reason. March of the Machines made sieging high ground an impossible task. He also had a really easy way to farm massively while being extremely safe. Rocket and Shield gave him that burst damage that he's known for, and the Shield was a decent compensation. I don't like when the Shield gives cooldown reduction though, or a cleanse. I just want it to be a health barrier, maybe like a slow resistance on it. Could have been good, but now he has March of the Machines again, and they heal, and I think it's ridiculous. Dota's so many things much better, but unfortunately it will forever be a niche game. The game's got thousands and thousands of players. I don't think that's really that niche. TI had, 100,000 viewers just on the Twitch stream, and just as many on the YouTube stream. No, 100,000 was just like most of the tournament. How many did it go up to? 180K? It was not a niche. The last TI was pretty big. How do you feel about streaming in YouTube more often? I don't think I'll do it as much as Twitch. Streaming on Twitch is a lot easier. It has, I don't have to go in and delete my VOD because I don't want my YouTube channel to be full of random stream VODs. So I don't have to go back and delete the VOD, and I don't have to worry about where to send you guys. I can raid out. There's a lot of, I have 7 TV emotes and better TV emotes on my Twitch stream, and people will use emotes to talk, and I think the emotes are really fun. I don't want to get rid of that. So I'll be doing YouTube rarely, very rarely. I'm just doing this one now because it was a reaction to League of Legends content, but I'm going to go to Twitch basically right after. If you haven't seen my Twitch stream, same name, Sada_potato. go follow me because I will be streaming there next time, probably. Which is better to watch. It's got more commercials. I don't like that. But yeah. Old Tinker used to be an absolute menace only if you're low MMR. Don't tell us. Don't tell us you're not skilled, man. That's how to notice if somebody doesn't have a high rank. One, they complain about Old Tinker. Two, they complain about Sniper. You do either of those things, you're showing your MMR. What's your favorite fruit and food? My favorite fruit is the banana. I like how sweet it is. It's got good potassium. And I like making banana shakes, milkshakes. For my favorite food, I like sweets. So a lot of my favorite foods will be types of cake and candy, and especially chocolate, which I have chocolate around me all the time. I love sweets, which is why I'm gaining so much weight. Look at this. I'm like 90 kilos right now. I do feel weird the incredible gap between people talking about League and people talking about Dota. Almost none I see on media talks about Dota, but LoL is mentioned on every corner because League of Legends is very good at that advertisement. How to bring back Tinker Rockets and just have it shield allies for a facet? Ooh, that's kind of cool. Even Mobile Legends, I see usually more mentioned than Dota. Again, advertisement. Dota does not advertise. The last time that it tried advertising was the Dota, what's it called? The anime on Netflix. A decent anime. If you like anime, like Dota, you should go watch it. But it's just outside of the anime on Netflix, it didn't really advertise that much. And the anime itself wasn't advertised as much as Arcane was. Meanwhile, it's just hard for me to casual play with my Discord friends against bots. Right. I think there's a lot more Dota content on the Russian internet. I don't think so. Even in Russian internet, it's not as much as League of Legends across Chinese internet, for example. So, yeah. This was a cool stream. I stuttered a lot and I minced words. I'm hoping that I can edit this to be down to only an hour for YouTube release, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that for a week. I'm lazy. But yeah. Okay. Before I hop off, I want to ask, is anybody interested in learning Dota? And League players interested in learning Dota? If you are, I will turn off this YouTube stream and immediately go stream on Twitch where I coach people learning Dota. It's free. While you're doing that, I'm going to just look at my Discord. One of my students in real life is asking me a question. Evaluate tangent of 2. Okay. Sign of... Give me 1 sec. I'm just responding here. Priority. Don't make it harder by changing it to over 6. Keep it as sim. I'll reply more in the moment. Let's see if anybody responded. No, Nobody has said that they want me to coach them. So that means I'm going to stop the stream. Thank you again so much for coming. I love streaming, and I'm going to be streaming a lot more on Twitch. So I'll see you guys there. I might go and play some Helldivers now, or maybe some more Dota. I have to respond to my student. As some of you know, I am in real life a private tutor for math and calculus. And I gotta do my job. So I gotta see you later.